Hello and welcome. In this video, we will see how we can use Firebase and Next.js page router to create a CRUD application. Firebase is what is known as Backend as a Service. It provides a set of backend cloud computing services and application development platform provided by Google. It hosts database services, authentication, and integration for a variety of applications, including Android, iOS, JavaScript, and Node. First, go to the Firebase website, click on Create Firebase Project, and then give a name to your project. Then click on Continue. You can enable Gemini or disable it. I will keep it enabled. Then click on Continue again. I will also keep the analytics enabled and use the default account for Firebase. Then click on Create Project. It will take a couple of seconds for a project to be created. Then click on Continue. Click on this icon to create a web project, web application. Give a name to application to register the app. Then copy these lines of code and keep it pasted somewhere. We will be using later on. This will contain all the keys and the environment variables. Then continue to the dashboard and click on Firestore Database. Since we'll be creating CRUD application, so I will be for this video I'll be using the Firestore Database. Then click on Create Database. Select the region nearest to you. Click on Next and keep it in Start in Production mode and click on Create. Okay, the database is created. Then click on this tab, Rules. We'll have to make some changes to the rules. Right now it is just for reading the database. We'll have to read and do the both read and write. So change it to true. And then publish the changes. Okay. Now I will go to VS Code and create a new create a new Next app. nps create Next app at latest. Give a name to application. I will name it Firebase test app. I won't be using TypeScript and I will be using the page router, and I will use Tailwind CSS. After the application is installed, then run the application npm run dev. Go to the browser, go to localhost 3000. Now create a new folder called utils, and inside it create a file called firebase config.js. I will open another instance of terminal and install the Firebase package npm firebase, and also I will also use Axios. And while this installs, I will create the environment variables. Create a file .env.local for Next.js environment variables, we have to name the variables as next. This means the variable name should start with next. Next. Then it should contain the word public and Firebase. First will be the API key. Copy this part and paste it a couple more times. Then remember the thing that I kept to paste it somewhere else. I will need those keys now. And then the next key will be the auth domain. And then project ID. Storage. Bucket. Message. Messaging sender. ID. App ID. Measurement ID. This is for the analytics. Then copy those keys or just copy everything from here and paste it in the Firebase config.js file. Now copy those keys and paste them in the .env local file. Okay. And then in the Firebase config file, for the keys, write process.env dot next public Firebase API key for the API key, and do the same for the rest of the keys also. Process.env next public Firebase auth domain. Process.env next public project ID. Process.env next public Firebase storage bucket. Process.env next public Firebase messaging sender ID. Process.env next public Firebase app ID. Process.env next public Firebase measurement ID. Just remember the API keys should be the names, the keys should start with next public Firebase. Cons db equal get Firestore app. Then the top import get Firestore from Firebase, Firestore, then export DB, save it, and restart the application. Reload the page. Now in the VS Code, go to index.js file, import useState hook from React, remove these lines of code. These are border codes. Then add the input field, input type text. Then add a button. Then create state variable node, set node, use state, receive a type of string. Then in the input type, add the value node, add the on-change event listener, set node dot e dot target dot value. Add some styles, class name, give it a shadow, shadow dark, shadow black. And margin in the y direction of 3. For the button, class name, padding of 2, rounded, medium, background, orange, 500, text, white, hover, background red, 700, save it. Okay. Also add cursor pointer. This image in the footer, change this to p text, remove this, and I will add a line and remove the rest of the anchor text. And here I will write powered by Firebase and NextJS. Then I will add a function const handle submit. This will submit a new node async e dot prevent default. Set up a try catch block. Inside the try block, add const response equal axios dot post and import axios. Then axios dot post give the API endpoint. I will create this endpoint after this. API / add node and create a node object const node object which will contain the node. Then add the node function node object here. If response dot OK, alert node added, else alert something went wrong. Then console dot error. In the add button, add a on-click event listener and call the function here until submit. Save it. Then in the API folder, add a file add node.js. In the add node file, import db from Firebase config, then import collection from Firebase Firestore, import add-doc, import query, where, and getDoc. Then create a function export default async handler, async function handler, request response. Inside it, first check if the method is post. If request.method is not post, then return response to status 405.json message method not allowed. Then set up a try catch block. Inside the try block, await add doc const node request.body. We type the node on the URL. Then await add doc collection db this collection and add doc These are all Firebase Firestore functions. I will use those functions to add the node to the Firestore database. By passing the node and the date at which the node is created. So created a new date, which is a JavaScript function. Then response to status 200.json message node added. If there is an error, response to status 500.json message error adding node. Let's try it out. First node add. There is something went wrong. To check it. Okay, I will have to make some changes to the Firebase config file. Let us comment again and edit this. Save it. Reload the page again. Try it again. First node add. Just restart the app again. Reload the page. Right here, first node add. Console is clean. Let us set the Firestore. Reload it again. As you can see, the nodes are added. Both the node, first node. Let's go to index.js file. And I will get rid of this if response to OK. And instead place a then here. If I get a response dot then set up a alert node added. Save it. Just add a second node add. The node is being added. You can see the same in the Firebase also. In the index.js page, after the node is added, I will set the input field to blank. So set node just the empty quotations. Now to fetch all the nodes from Firebase and display them in the website, I will import db from the Firebase config file. Then import useFactor from React. Then I will declare some state variables. Const array, set node array. This will be an array that will store the nodes. Use state an empty array. Now I will write a fetch node function that will fetch the nodes. Const fetch node async, const, nodes collection. Collection is a Firebase function passing the DB and the nodes. That is the name of the collection. Const response, await, query, nodes. Collection. The nodes will be ordered by the created date. Const data, query await, get docs, passing the response, that is the query. Then passing the data docs.map. This the data.docs is an object. I will map over it to store the nodes in the set nodes array. Inside the use effect hook called the fetch function, fetch nodes. There is a error. I will have to import collection from Firestore and also import query get doc get docs. Save it. Now to display the fetch nodes in the JSX, insert a div text. Inside of it, map over a nodes array, item, index, return, UL, place the index as key, li, then place some curly braces, item dot nodes. Save it. Okay, and the nodes are being displayed. Place the item dot node inside the ptext and set another ptext and insert two buttons. One of the button will be for delete and the other will be for edit. Give some styles, class name bg 700, text white, cursor pointer. Copy this entire thing and paste it again. Next one will be for delete. The next one will be for edit. Change the red color to blue. Save it. Let's give some margins and paddings. In the UL tag, give class name, margin of 3 in the Y direction. Let's change it to padding. Give some shadows. Save it. Give it a width. $72. Then in the buttons, give px3, mx2, save it. Now for the edit and the delete operations, I will declare some new state variables. Const editing node ID, set editing node ID, use state null. This will carry the IDs of the node that I want to update. Then const editing node content editing, set editing node content state. This will carry the node. Now declare a function const handle edit click node. I will call this function in the edit button. This will paste the node, a particular node that I want to update, and update the set edit node ID with the node ID of that particular node, and also the content of the node. Then I will set up another function to cancel editing if I want to cancel the editing part. Const cancel editing, set editing node ID null, set editing node content is blank. Once the node that I want to update is being fetched, I will set up a new function that will send the updated node to the endpoint. Handle update node without prevent default if edit node content is empty, then set up an alert node content cannot be empty. Return if edit node ID try. If the node ID is present, then set up a try case block. Inside the try block, I will put the post the updated node to the endpoint. Axios.put API update node. I will write the endpoint after this. Send the ID of the node and the node and then updated node. Editing node content. Dot set editing node ID null. After the node ID has been sent to the endpoint, I will again update the node ID as null and the node ID content as empty, and give an alert the node is updated. And then redirect to the index page so that the index page gets refreshed and the updates are being displayed. And in the catch block, if there is an error, console.error, error, updating node. Save it. Now I will also write a delete function, const delete node, async node ID, set up a try catch block, inside the try block, write await axios.delete, and the endpoint I will create after this. In the endpoint I will send the API delete node and the ID of the node that I want to delete. ID, node ID. Then if the delete is completed successfully, then I will give an alert node deleted. And I will redirect it to the index page again so that it gets refreshed and the notice and the updated stuff is being displayed here in the screen. If there is an error, I will console log the error deleting node. Save it. Now in the JSX, first in a delete button, call on click delete node and pass the node ID as argument item.id. And in the edit button, on click handle edit click and pass in the node ID item.id and also the node item.node that you want to edit. Then just below this div, I will set up another div. This will contain the form index field where you will edit the node. If the edit node ID is not null, then I will display a small form on submit. It will call the handle update node function. Give it a background of white, margin of 10. Then place the input field inside of it with type text, value, edit node content, on since e dot set node editing node content e dot target dot below, and set up some styles here, class name, md beautiful, background white, padding 2, text black, rounded, medium, shadow black. Keep a margin of 3 in the y direction. And then put a button to it of type submit. Give a padding of 2, rounded medium, background green, .500 text white, hover, background red, 700 cursor pointer, I need 2 buttons, one for the cancel if I want to cancel the editing, and other to submit. It should be saved, and the next one will be cancel. In the save button, in the cancel button, change the background color to red. In the save button, this will be of type submit, and for the cancel button, this will contain a on-click event listener that will call the cancel editing function. Save it. Let's check it out. Edit, and the form is been displayed carrying the node that I want to edit. Now in the API folder, create 2 new files. How to delete and the update endpoint, update node.js, and delete node.js. In the update node.js file, import db from Firebase config, then import doc, update doc, timestamp from Firestore, then export default, async function, handler, request and response. It first check if the method is put. If it is not, then I will return request response to JSON, response to status 405, JSON, message, method not allowed. Then const ID and node. I will extract the ID and the node from the URL request or body. Then set up a try catch block. Insert the try block const node ref doc db nodes ID. Doc is a Firestore function and passing the db from Firebase config, the nodes and the ID. Then I will update with the updated node and the date in which the node is updated by passing in timestamp.now. Response to status 200, JSON, message, node updated successfully. Console.error, error. Updating node. Error. Response to status 500. .json message internal server error. Save it. Let's try it out. Edit. I will write second node updated. Save the node. Node updated. Nothing is not being displayed here. I'll just reload the page. Yes, and the node is updated. Let's go to Next.JS page. This redirect is not working, so I will replace the redirect and instead call the first node function. Let's try editing it again. Save it, and this time the changes are being displayed. Now for the delete API, import db import doc delete doc, then create a handler function, export default async function handler, passing the request and response as arguments, and I will just copy this part from here to check if the method is delete or not. It change the port to delete. Then const id retrieve the id using this string home request dot query and set up a type class block. Inside the type block, write const node ref doc db nodes id. This retrieves the reference from the Firebase, and then I will delete that node after retrieving it. Response to status 200 JSON message node deleted successfully. If there is an error, I will console log the error. Then it says error deleting node. Save it and send the response to status 500 JSON message error and deletion. Let's create a new node. This node, add the node. Let's refresh. Okay. The index.js page, the redirects are not working, so instead I refresh the nodes. After you edit or delete or doing making changes. That's not here, and also for that after the delete node, that's the nodes again. Save it. Now let's try it out. Delete node and the node is deleted. Let's try it again. The node add okay. New node is not being displayed. Yeah. I think I will place the set nodes and the fetch nodes inside the block, save it, and remove this. Let's try all this again. Add another, add, and the node is displayed. Okay, everything's working. I hope you like this video, and I will see you on the next one.